have it all. I can have it all.
Hello, everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a friend with me today, and this is not just a friend. This is a very, very dear woman to me. She's actually one of my dearest mentors and teachers. And before I go into her, official bio and all that information, all the wonderful things that she's done and accomplished, I just want to say that, last year when I had my book coming out, The Art of Having It All, I had the pleasure of interviewing about 160 celebrities, authors, truly transformational leaders, because I wanted all of us to come together as a voice to say that, yes, you can have it all, and what that meant for each person that really believes that. And during my interview with Mary, I absolutely felt something opening within me. And it was really funny because after interviewing 160 people, I had this feeling with no other person, but after our interview, I said, Mary, I don't know what it looks like, but there's a part of me that is wanting me to ask you, will you mentor me? And she said, I don't know what that looks like either, but yeah, it's a yes for me. So our relationship began, and I've been working with Mary on a mentoring level for a couple years now. And, I've been working with Universal Laws for 20 years, and she's been working with it for 40 years. So let me go into introducing Mary and just the knowledge and the depth and the true integrity that this woman has. I'm so grateful that she's in my life. So Mary Morrissey has invested the last 40 years in studying transformational principles and the spiritual side of success. She's the author of 2 books, No Less Than Greatness and Building Your Field of Dreams, which actually came a PBS special, which is amazing. She's also the founder of the Life Mastery Institute. And through her books, her live events, her programs, Mary has helped empower millions of people to achieve new heights of spiritual aliveness, I can attest to that, wealth, and authentic success. She is widely considered the world's foremost expert on dream building, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And she's a sought-after expert in the spiritual side of success and spoken 3 times. It's amazing. 3 times at the United Nations, facilitated 3 different week-long meetings with the Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and met with Nelson Mandela in Cape Town, South Africa, to address the most significant issues our world is facing. So Mary, it is my greatest pleasure to introduce you to what I call my family.
You call your what, Christy?
My family.
Your family. Oh, I love that. Yes. Well, I want to be part of your family. I think I am part of your family.
You are definitely part of my family, an intimate part of my family for sure.
Hello, family. So, glad to be here.
So I actually was just telling someone that's very dear to me. She's actually one of our teachers with the QSCA. Her brother-in-law was just rushed to the hospital last week, and he was having some issues with his kidney. And I told her, this is Mary Morrissey's story. And so if she could get through this, he can get through this. And so I would love for you to share, really why you're so passionate about the art and science of transformation and what happened to you 40 years ago to get you really aware of this and then moving from that place.
Well, thank you for that opportunity. We'll hold, positive energy and all kinds of help for your friend who's it was a brother, right?
Brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, yeah. So, well, hi everybody, and hi to you. I'm glad to be here. I love Christy Whitman. I'll tell you more about that later in our conversation today, but deeply respect, honor, and love this woman who you're tuned into today. You're in a good spot, by the way. So I had let me go back to being in high school. I had a high school experience in Portland, Oregon, like most young girls dream about. I had a great family growing up. Mom and dad who loved each other for 63 years. So I was benefited by that kind of upbringing. Had a high school experience like most young girls dream about. I was class vice president. I was on the drill team. I had a lead in the junior play, class vice president. And at the end of my junior year in high school, I got pregnant. My high school boyfriend had gone off to college, came home on spring break. I got pregnant. May 1, I tell my mom and dad I am now pregnant. My mother wept for me as if I had died. In her mind, all her dreams for me were dying. Very tumultuous time. We quickly had a very hasty 10-person wedding. And a couple of weeks later, it was mid-May now. In the old intercoms that used to be on the sides of the walls in classrooms, there was a message that came out from Mary to come to the principal's office. And I met with Mr. Erickson there, and he asked me, he said, so are these rumors I'm hearing about you true? And I said, well, if the rumors are that I am pregnant and married in that order, then yes, they're true. And he just put his head in his hands and he shook his head and he said, Mary, you have great honors and terrific academics, but you are not going to be allowed to return here for your senior year. It would be totally inappropriate for a pregnant girl to get mixed in with the normal girls. This is 1966. Yes, he said, however, there's a high school you can go to. It's not a high school held during daylight hours. It's after dark. It's across the river. And it's a place where pregnant girls and delinquent boys go to high school. So the next fall, I drove my car across the river, parked it actually in a part of Portland I hadn't been allowed to drive in after dark, and walked up to this great big school, big steps going up to it. It was Washington High School during the day, became Washington Evening High School at night for the rest of us. I remember walking up to that school thinking, all right, every girl here is either pregnant or has a baby, and every guy is some kind of delinquent. This is my new student body. I don't know where you were exactly at the beginning of your senior year in high school, but that's where I was. And I began my senior year. I'd had a dream of being a teacher since I was a little girl, and I knew this was a great big detour I was now on, being pregnant and giving birth to a baby at 17. But I also believed that someday I might be able to achieve my dream of becoming a teacher. So I wanted a high school diploma and not just a GED, a general education degree. So I'm taking these classes, and my first son was born in December of 1966. Now, I could no longer see my best girlfriends. There were 4 of us who'd been hanging out since 5th grade. But after I got pregnant, the other 2 mothers got together and decided that their daughters, so three mothers got together, because there were 4 of us, and said, we're not going to let you see Mary anymore. And so now the 3 friends were friends with each other, but I wasn't allowed to see them or talk to them, almost as if what I had was contagious. So my first son's born in December. I graduated from Washington Evening High School in May of 1967. And then my life took a major turn, because in July of 1967, I found myself in an intensive care ward in a Portland hospital, having been diagnosed with fatal kidney disease. 1 kidney was totally destroyed with nephritis. The other kidney tests revealed was 50% destroyed, and active nephritis. Now in 1967, this is a death sentence, because there's no dialysis, there's no transplants, and kidney disease, it's already destroyed 1 kidney, has 50% destroyed the other kidney, and is active kidney disease. That's a high prediction. And all of the scientists, the MDs, the tests, everybody looking at this said, maybe the most you're going to get 6 months. And I'm terrified. I'm in this, intensive care room. My mother and dad are now watching my 7-month-old son. My husband's staying with them so we can see him as much as possible. They're all trying to see me at times, but the most I'm going to get is 6 months. I'm not going to get to raise this little boy. I'm not going to become a teacher. I'm not going to live the life that I believed I was here to live. And the God of my upbringing was not a friendly place to go when you felt like you had really screwed up. And so I just felt lost and scared and desperate. Finally, they had got my blood toxin level reduced enough so they could remove the 1 kidney, and that's what was going to give me the 6 months. And the night before that surgery was scheduled, a woman walked in my room about 10 o'clock at night and identified herself as a visiting or volunteer chaplain who was praying with people who were going to have surgery the next day. She got a list of the top 10 most dangerous surgeries. My name was at the top of her list. And she said, would you like somebody to pray with you? And I was so scared. I said, okay. Now she pulled her chair next to my bed, and she didn't do anything that at any part to me looked like prayer. She talked to me. She just asked me, she started this way, and she said, would you be willing to tell me what's been going on in your life the last year or 2? And so I told her my story, at the end of which she compassionately looked at me, and this is what she said. She said, Mary, everything's created twice. I mean, I had no idea what she was talking about. Today I said it, went right over my head. It was like I had no landing page for that awareness. Like, what are you talking about? I looked at her, everything's created twice. And she said, you know this. Deep down, everybody knows it, and almost nobody knows the power of knowing this. And then she said, the bed you're laying on, the nightgown you're wearing, the sheet covering you, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, all this machinery you're hooked up to. First, it had to be a thought before it could be a thing. And then she said again, I know you know this, but you don't know the power of knowing this. And then she said, I hear how much you love your little boy. but I also hear how much you've been hating yourself.
Mm.
You feel like you shamed yourself, you shamed your school, you shamed your family. And now that you're considering how everything is created twice, I want you to consider that there could be a correlation between those toxic thoughts and the very toxicity that is rampaging your body and threatening your very life. And then she suggested that through prayer or through a change in the frequency of what was going on in my mental, emotional, and physical system, she said, could you believe that through prayer, we could say a prayer and actually there could be such a shift in you that you could have a complete healing. And in the morning when the doctors come and get you to take you to surgery, they look at you and they say, well, you look better. We better test you. They test you. They say, my gosh, we don't know what's happened, but you're completely well. And she looked at me and she said, could you believe that's possible? And I told her the truth. And I said, no, I don't believe that's going to happen for me. There wasn't one part of me that at that point believed that that possibility could be mine. And she said, all right, well, if you can't believe you could have a complete healing, how about this? Could you believe? And she said, now think how big this universe is. And that's only the known universe. She said, there are infinite possibilities. Couldn't there be one possibility where through prayer or through a shift in what's going on in not only your physical, but your whole being, there could be such a shift that we could actually, through the prayer, scoop up out of your body everything that's toxic, place it in the one kidney that's going to get removed. And when they remove that one kidney, instead of getting worse, you could get better. Could you believe that's possible? Just the infinite possibilities. Couldn't there be that possibility? And it was interesting because I didn't really believe it, but I could tell she believed it was possible and nobody else had offered me a possibility for a way to get well. And I was the first time, Christy, where I ever, I think, consciously believed in somebody else's belief when their belief was operating at a higher domain than mine. And I know you do this day in and day out for the people that have the privilege of working with you. And it's actually quite a privilege when you have studied what we studied, the universal laws, enough to know that you actually can do this with and for someone. Yes. I knew nothing about this, of course, in 1967. Could you believe that's possible? And I said to her, well, I don't know if it's probable, but maybe it's possible. And she just latched onto that and said, that's all we need. One corner of your mind open to the possibility. Let's work with that. She said a prayer, inside of which, I guess it was prayer, it was words. I didn't hear bells ring and there was no hair on my neck standing up. It wasn't that kind of a prayer, but she gave me, now I know what she did. She gave me a pattern of a new thinking. And inside that prayer, before we scooped all the imaginary toxicity up and placed it in that kidney imaginally, she said, here's how it works. She said, your mind is very much like a rubber band. When you have this surgery, your mind is going to be distracted for a day or two on the pain that you're feeling after a surgery. That's normal. She said, but after that subsides, your mind is going to want to go down the well-worn paths that you've been thinking for the last couple of years that are filled with self-loathing and shame. When those thoughts starts to arise and you start to notice that you're thinking something that's generating in you a sense of self-loathing, a sense of hatred for yourself, a sense of regret and shame, the minute you notice that coming up, say to yourself, no, that left with a kidney. And then immediately imagine yourself holding a little boy's hand. Feel the warmth of his hand. You're walking into a school and there's your little boy, he's 5 years old. You're there, you're walking this little boy into school. And there's his kindergarten class, and you're there, Mary. And you're happy teacher, happy boy. He goes into his kindergarten class. You hear the click, click, click of your heels. You go down and around the corner, and there's your classroom, and you're a teacher. Then fast forward in your mind and you see yourself in a stadium or an auditorium and you look down and there's all these caps and gowns and it's a high school graduation and you're in the stands and you're viewing and you hear your son's name called and he walks across the stage, picks up his diploma, turns and waves, and the pride you feel and the joy you feel at being there for your son's graduation and the part you've played in bringing him to this point, and your teaching career is growing. And then fast forward in your mind and you're sitting in the front row of a wedding, and it's your son's wedding, and you're the mother of the groom. Your son is marrying the love of his life, and your teaching career is flourishing. And then just repeat this. Every time those thoughts rise up, say, no, that left with the kidney, and immediately imagine yourself. Your son is 5, he's graduating from high school, he's getting married, and you are there, and your teaching career is growing and growing and growing. Now, she didn't talk about what school I would go to, where I would get the money to go, who's going to babysit him. We didn't talk about how.
Right.
She just gave me 3, what I have come to call scaffolding images that gave my energy and my vision a chance to build upon itself rather than me just rehearsing this. Now, I was really, Christy, what would be, had the surgery the next morning. They, I think, came out, they said, yep, that other kidney has active nephritis, half of it shriveled. We don't know how much time you're going to have. But my numbers started to stabilize. And after a week, they said, well, your numbers are stabilizing. And then after 2 weeks, they said, well, you might end up having a little more time than we would have thought. So they let me go home to my parents' house. I went home in an ambulance. I couldn't even hold my head up, really. My mother agreed to take me into the specialist office 4 times for the first, we didn't know how long that was going to be, just to have all my numbers checked daily. And then my numbers just started to improve. Not only did they stabilize, they started to improve. And then I was going 3 times a week, and then 2 times a week, and then once a week. And then after about 4 months, I'm sitting in a meeting with the surgeon, the specialist, and the general practitioner, and they're just shaking their heads and they're saying, we have no science for why your one kidney that was 50% destroyed seems to have regenerated itself, and you have one perfectly functioning kidney. We don't know how this happened. All we can put on your medical records is medical anomaly. But whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Wow.
And that was their total answer to me. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just was grateful to be getting better. But I kept, so when we talk about an unconscious competent, I was doing the right thing that helped me get better. I just didn't even really know what I was doing. But I got very interested in, of course, where I could go take a class that might help me, begin to build my dream of being a teacher while I'm and now getting stronger, so I can hold my son in my arms, I can play with him, I can do the things I had dreamed of doing. That is almost 50 years ago. That happened in 1967. Now, it took me a couple of years to begin to look around myself and go, my gosh, something happened here. I'm part of something that's much more than I have known. And I became like a thirsty sponge for everything I could find in the field of transformation and religion and psychology and philosophy. And I went on and got an undergraduate degree in education, a master's degree in counseling psychology, honorary doctorate, and the things that you talked about, all of which came through the study and then the application of these invisible laws, these universal laws, and then the idea that we're meant to create the things that we really do love. Which is what your program's all about, Christy, is helping people, bring their desires not out of the land of imagination into the world of results.
Absolutely. Your story is just so inspiring. And I'm hoping that so many people that are watching, no matter what their conditions are in their life right now, they take that and just say, wow, Mary just had even just a shadow of a belief, just a little part of a belief that this condition could change for her, that this situation could change. So if whatever your condition is, it could be financial, it could be a relationship, it could be health, it doesn't matter what it is, but just having the hope and the belief that you could start thinking on a different frequency and changing your thoughts, you do change your outcome, because thoughts are things. So thank you for that. It's amazing. I know that I get this a lot. I know you get this a lot too. People are like, well, I just don't know what I want. Like, how do I know what I want? I know what I don't want. How do I know what I want? So I would love to hear how you help people identify what they would really love in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Deep down, here's the truth. We do know, but we're afraid to let ourselves know what we do know because we fear disappointment. We fear being let down. We fear being ridiculed. We fear being embarrassed of someone else. So we then hypnotize ourselves to believe we don't really know. So Socrates once said that wonder is the gateway to wisdom. We all did this as children. We easily put on imaginal futures, and we had people around us who were saying, oh, you're going to be a fireman. That's cute. You're going to be a ballerina. That's cute. You're going to be an astronaut. Terrific. And then as we got older, by the time we were 5 or 6 and we were in public education or even private, we were told to stop doing that, stop daydreaming, start rehearsing and repeating what we've already learned. You'll be able to repeat it, and we'll tell you you're educated. And so as we get into our adult selves, our muscle set has become a bit atrophied. So one of the things that I have found to help people are 3 questions. Number 1, if you could, what does your longing say to you when you're in your quiet moments, or maybe you glance at yourself in the mirror, or you're in the shower and you just, oh, I wish I could, or I wish it, what's the answer to that in you? If you wish that I would love that, what's your longing say to you? And start to pay attention to your longing. And the other side of that, because we live in the land of duality, the other side of that is, where's your discontent? We're just like, oh, I'm so tired of struggling with money, or I wanted that partner in this life and it's not happening, or I wish my business could. What's your longing say to you, and what's your discontent say to you? Because those are 2 signals to your conscious mind from the very life force that's breathing you, that you were meant for more. Then as you begin to ask, well, so then what would I love? If I answer the longing and I dissolve the discontent, what would my life look like? Because if you just keep breathing 365 more days, every one of us here imagines we're going to be breathing 365 days from now, you are going to have results. because you can't be in the human experience and not produce results. But the great gift, of course, of being a spiritual being, having a human experience, is we can change those results. Once we learn how to work with these invisible laws in such a way that we can produce, frankly, whatever we get in harmony with. So we can have anything we're willing to become. And the first place of that, of course, is inside us. So having a real vision is the answer to that, but the way to find what you care about. The other thing I would say to you, don't be afraid about getting it wrong. If you say, I want to this is what I want, and you move towards that, and then something more wonderful occurs to you, don't ever give up on a vision out of fear and doubt, worry and insecurity. Those energies will never take you where you want to go. But you think about it like mountain climbing. I'm going to climb to the top of this mountain. And you climb, and now you have a different viewpoint. Now you can see more than you could see at the base of the mountain. You go, oh my gosh, this is a great mountain, but this one, and you might decide, I want to, for me, it was, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I got up the mountain of that awareness, got my degree, got into a classroom. I went, oh, this is not what I wanted to be teaching. I want to teach people how to change their lives. And I was very a short timer, really, in the land of public education. Within 2 or 3 years, I went, this is not the curriculum I'm destined to teach. And my teaching career was my right path, but the methodology or the means by which I would do that shifted and changed as I became more aware.
That's amazing. Oh, I just love your stories and your information and your knowledge and your wisdom. And I hope all of you can just feel like, start just tuning into Mary's vibration and start, really tuning into, and it's the best word that I have right now, because she is one of these people that walks among us that vibrates at such a high level, because it's not just something she does out here. She lives by this, and it comes through her, and her life, it's representative of all aspects of her life, of your life. So thank you for that. Thank you for being that example. It's you, and that teacher. Thank you for following that path for you and that guidance for you. So I know some people will say, well, you know what, you can only have one dream, focus on one dream, and because you're going to have too many scattered energies. I personally don't believe that, and I know you don't believe that. So what do you tell people that feel that they can only choose one dream? Can people actually have more than one dream?
Mm-hmm. You can. First of all, where we look for competitive dreams, you have 4 areas of life. We all have 4 areas of life where simultaneously we're producing results. We're just, in today, you're producing health results. They will take you either towards greater health or towards less greater health. So we're either moving up the spiral or down the spiral based on our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So you're going to produce results in health. You're going to produce results in relationships. Either what we're doing today builds our connection with those we love, or it begins to build walls between us and those we love. So we're creating results today in health, relationships, vocation, which is what we're doing with our time and talent, whether we actually earn income doing it or not. We have creative energy that's seeking to express by means of us. So in the absence of an intelligent dream, we tend to do repetitive tasks, and routine lulls the brain to sleep. So then 2 years, 3 years from now, we find ourselves kind of in the same place, even though we meant to create something different. You're going to create results in health, relationships, vocation, and time and money freedom or time and money constraint. And so as you realize that you could have actually a very clear dream for your health and your relationships and what you're doing with your time and talent and what you would love your calendar to look like and your finances to look like. And those can be woven into one coherent dream, which always has the room for evolution at the top. We always keep the top open to greater insight, greater awareness. And when I'm working with anyone I'm working with, my coaching is always, will you get discouraged or disappointed or let down at times? Absolutely, because we're in the human experience. Never let the disappointment, the discouragement, the feeling of letting down kill your dream. Those energies are just part of the growth cycle of becoming more of who you're capable of being. So that's why what you do, Christy, is so important, because you actually help people navigate the gap between where they are and where they really want to be, so they don't get lost in the middle. So yes, you can have more than one dream, and you want to be sure you have a dream for each of the major areas of life. We're going to create results anyway. You said earlier the word not. You cannot not create results.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, because there's so many people that create a vision, or they get excited, or they get motivated, or they feel inspired, but then it just kind of sizzles out. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think some people just get so excited and then follow their dream and see it to fruition, and others it just goes, just falls away?
Mhm. Well, first of all, our results have a thermostat. In the same way, the room that you're in right now, the temperature in that room is set by a thermostat. If it gets a little too warm, cool air is going to get kicked in. If it gets a little too cold, warm air is going to kick in. You set it one time and it operates. You don't even really think about that thermostatic setting. It's called a cybernetic system. It's going on all the time. Our self-image is a cybernetic system. So when we set a goal that's greater than the results we currently have been achieving, first part of us feels very thrilled about that, and we can say, I'm doing this, and we head gung-ho in that direction. Meanwhile, the thermostat has been set at a certain level of success, happiness, fulfillment, and it's operating. So it takes some repetition, some time, and frankly some support to be able to change that thermostatic setting so that we can actually allow more fun, more freedom, more flow in our lives in the arenas that we have designated through the dreaming or the goal setting that we've done. So number one, people pay more attention to what they don't want than what they do want, which you alluded to earlier when you said, it's easy to notice what we don't want, but not so easy at times to really notice what we do want. So that's why you want some support in really getting clear about what you do want. And then you want to get your attention off what you don't want, because at first, that some of what you don't want is going to show up more clearly than it did before, simply because now you are clear about what you want to bring into your life. Think about cleaning out your closet. It's kind of a little bit disordered in there, and you think, I'm going to clean out this closet and really get rid of the stuff I don't want anymore and really keep the things I do want. The first thing that happens is mess, because as you start to disassemble what's been there, it becomes more chaotic at first while you're establishing a new order. And transformation is like that. So you don't want to get lost in the beginning part where we call it dissipative structures or disruptive energy. So as we're rearranging the pieces of our lives and letting go of what's no longer useful and supportive and bringing in what is, there's a process to this. So you want to get your attention off what you don't want, put your attention on what you do. Number two, the operating system or the current results thermostat is trying very hard. It's like a gravitational pull to the familiar. And it'll never say to you, these thoughts will never say, I'm here to wreck your dream. I'm here to make sure you don't get what you want. I'm going to make sure you're safe. It says, I'm going to make sure you're safe. It doesn't say, I'm going to make sure you never get what you want. It doesn't say that, but that's what it will do. But it'll say things to you like this. I'm going to make sure your heart never gets broken again. I'm going to make sure no one ever screws with your trust again. And it'll cause you to contract out of in completely the illusion of safety, and it's not safety, it's contraction. So that's why the work you do, Christy, or the work I do together, this is what we really help people recognize, is how to say no to the voice of contraction and yes to the voice of expansion for a good and true purpose, something that is meaning and value to that person that they've tested in their core values. The other is that the voice of doubt and fear and worry, which is part of transformation. When you set goals that you haven't achieved yet, and you set out on a path you've never traveled before, but you love the destination, you're in love with that idea, you've not done this before, so you have a bit of insecurity. You're trying on new versions of yourself. You want somebody around you who is not a doubt builder, but someone who's a believer with you. And that's why working with Christy or doing some of the things I'm doing, actually you have a circle of people around you that help you be able to find that greater part of yourself and live from that greater yet to be. Because doubt, worry, and fear, if they move into being your decision makers, you're going to always find yourself heading for disappointment and living in the what if I could have and what if I had. And that's one of the saddest places to live.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny, I just cleaned out my office and it was just disarray everywhere. And now it's in perfect order. I love my office again, but it's true. I had stuff everywhere. So I love that analogy. It's like so spot on. So you have an amazing, extraordinary online program called the Dream Builder Program. And it's helped tens of thousands of people from all over the world. It's an online program, love the internet. And they get to, no matter where they're at, they get to create the life that they love. So can you briefly tell about what the program is about? And I know you actually have a little surprise for everybody today.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, why Dream Builder is successful and why it continues to grow and grow in its ability to reach people is because it works. Kirsty mentioned that I've studied the invisible laws, the universal laws for over 40 years. not only in my life. I've been working in this laboratory called life for all these years, not just in learning how to translate my own dreams and desires into results, but I literally have worked with tens of thousands of people all over the world. And any more than Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison didn't invent the law of electricity, but he discovered how to apply that in a particular way so that he could harness that law in such a way that we could literally light our world. So he discovered systems for transferring that power, that ability into the homes and office buildings and world of humanity. So how transformation occurs, I didn't invent that. None of us that teach it invented it. But I put a particular code to it to help unlock it in a very simple way for people. And we call that the Dream Builder system. It's a proven, reliable, and repeatable system for transformation. And when you apply the system, it works. In the same way, if you wire a house to code, you are going to have light where you want it. And if you don't wire it to code, even though the potential of having light is right at your fingertips, you won't have light, not because you aren't good enough, but simply because you're not wired to code. And what this does is help you design a dream and then implement that in such a way that you see how it can work here and then here and here and here. And so once you understand the system, you can apply it and people work with it as I've been working with it for the whole rest of their lives. And that's Dream Builder. And people see results like huge increases in their income, where their relationships, either the ones they're in greatly improve or the ones they've longed for become the relationships they're having. Transforming their work, having their dream job, selling their business, creating their business, having health and fitness goals that may have eluded them literally for years and years. I've seen, and some of my best friends really, starting charities that are doing amazing things in the world that they only dreamed that they might be able to do and now are doing. Actually having the freedom now to have more time with their loved ones, their children, their grandchildren, going the places they've been dreaming of going and doing the things that they love most. That's the natural result of applying this proven, reliable system of transformation to your life and to your dreams.
Like we said, it cannot not work.
That's right.
Universal laws. And it's a system that it's repeatable. It's, absolutely. So I know you have a gift. Will you share what the gift is for everybody?
Yes, I made this especially, and I'm thrilled to be giving it as a gift. I have a gift, and it's called the Dream Builder video series, and it's a completely free series for you where I will give you the inside secrets here for this transformation. I'm going to guide you through the 3 proven, reliable, repeatable stages of dream building: blueprinting, bridging, and building. I know you could probably repeat those words, but understanding how to apply that in your life gives you the key to open that door to the things you've been dreaming of. It's a 3-part video training with complimentary guidebooks, everything that you're going to need. And there you're going to discover what an old fisherman, a broken ruler, and a frying pan can teach you about the real reason you might have been experiencing a long-lasting lack or scarcity or struggle in some of the areas of your life, like health or relationships or career or business. You're going to learn how to create for yourself something that really matters to you, a crystal clear vision on what you would love in these 4 areas of life, so that you'll have a vision. By the time this video series is over, you'll have a vision for your health and your relationships and your vocation and what your vision for your level of time and money freedom would be. And then I'll show you how to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you would love to be, because there is a gap in the vibration. So we're going to show you how to establish a new set point and then ride along that set point. And then I'm going to give you proven transformational principles that all great dream builders, like Walt Disney and Einstein and Henry Ford and Eleanor Roosevelt, applied for creating extraordinary results, extraordinary to them, extraordinary results in their life. And that's what matters to you. Not what somebody else thinks is extraordinary, but what's extraordinary to you. And then how you can apply these powerful universal success secrets easily and quickly for yourself, and how it shows up in your life easily and quickly as well. And it's all a gift to you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Mary. So truly very generous. And so we made it easy for all of you. Just go ahead and right underneath the video is a link, and you just click on that video or click on that link, and it's going to take you right to the video series. You just put in your name and your email, and you get all that stuff for free. Everything that Mary just said, the videos and everything that you're going to learn is going to be right there. So you get Mary teaching you in the video format, and just it's free and it's going to help you. So if you want more in your life, if, like Mary said, if you have that longing and discontent in any or every area of your life, click the video and go and start the video series. So Mary, I just adore you. I am so truly grateful that I'm where I'm at in my life, that I attracted a master teacher like yourself, and truly know that my life continues to expand because you get to hold not only the vision for me and what I get to then become, but because you've done that, you've been there, and you truly are such a great example for all of us how to really masterfully create our lives. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Christy Whitman. I love and adore you, respect you deeply. I'm grateful for the work you're doing in the world. It's making a massive and huge impact.
Thank you, Mary. So everybody go ahead and click the video, or click, I keep saying the video, click underneath the video on the link and take the next step with Mary and leave us a comment. Let me know what you were taking away. I know Mary gave us so many different nuggets and jewels today. So what really landed inside of you, and how did that shift you today? So gotta have a great week. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, and here is a related video to watch right now. Also, check out my free webinars on creating whatever you want in your life using the universal laws that I explain in each webinar. So share your thoughts by leaving a comment and continue the conversation at christywhitman.com.